there was one thing you could change in the first 5 years of your playing, what would it be?
First 5 years of my playing. It's crazy. I like my first 5 years was in like Battle of the Bands and bullshit. That's what I'm thinking about. What I would change. That's a hard one. I feel like I don't know if there's much I would change. I was surrounded by bands I loved at that time. Like I remember my first show ever, I wore a full-blown Chaos shirt. And like I had that whole like army getup looking, like army cap, army shorts, you know, black shirt, like of course. What I would change? I don't know, man. I'm thinking back, it's hilarious. When I was young and I started bands with friends, it was always like I recruited people that I think could play an instrument. It was like, hey, do you have a guitar? No? Okay, I have one. Like it was just kind of like going about that way. And like if I would change anything, I would find real musicians. I would find people that know what they're doing. That's my answer. I guess that's that.
Yeah, there's something kind of cool about the like I somewhat leapfrogged the with my last band. I sort of leapfrogged the real like figuring shit out stage. Like I think we jumped in at a decent point, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's weird how the thing. Speaking of that, the thing that struck me is like that. I think so many bands when they start and musicians make the mistake of putting stuff out or going about things in a way that, you know, you can't fake being like, you know, a stadium band, right? And it would just look, it would just look phony if you tried to, and some people do, and it does look phony. But there's an element of like professionalism in what you put out, and I hear bands putting out like whole albums that are quite poorly produced. I'm like, you should have just done one song, you know,
right?
Or they'll go on like play loads of shows with like, and the posters look all crappy, and you're like, it just, I don't know, in my head I'm like, I don't know if that's drawing anyone into what you're doing. And we did a little bit of that, and that's maybe something I would possibly change.
But I guess there's no other, I guess that's the thing, you wouldn't know it was bad unless you did it. You know, because if you're just going through it thinking everything you do is hot shit, then you're not going nowhere.
Yeah,
I think it's like I'm trying to think, because I was going to shows growing up. I was the guy that made flyers for other people's shows. So like I knew Photoshop ages ago. Like back in the day, I play a shit ton of video games, but back in the day I was in like forums of like, I don't know, Counter-Strike forums, and people, you know, if you ever part of like a bulletin board, people always had like their signature at the end of their post, and it would always be like a, you know, 3-inch by 1-inch kind of like picture with their user name in it, all like graphicked up and stuff. I would charge people $5 to make those, and that's how I learned Photoshop, and then that's how I learned how to make flyers in cool ways. But like I feel like, yeah, if like with my previous band, my first bands, we put out shit from our garage and put it on MySpace, and it got like local attention and this, that, and the other. But like, yeah, I don't know if I would go and just do a pro record right away, because it would just be like, who the fuck are these dudes? You know, I don't know. I like that. Maybe that's just my head. That's how it would work. It's like they just show up out of nowhere, sounding all sick. It's like they haven't played a show yet. What the fuck is this about? Yeah,
it's a weird balance. Like I remember when we put a single out. And I went to like music school with these guys, and like everyone at that point at the music school is like the first couple of years of it opening, so there weren't that many people there. So we were the first band to put out like a legit music video, like a 4K music video. Everyone's like, "Whoa, what's this?" It's like it's just
you guys are like a real band.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Although there are loads of like there are loads of good bands that have sort of come out of there now. What do you think you learned from the kind of like, you talked about like Battle of the Bands and stuff like that? What, you know, if you look back at like where you were then versus now as a musician, how did that inform where you're at now, like those early stages?
I mean, it's so funny. I have a specific memory of like, it was the very first show. It was a library Battle of the Bands, and it was like a all day kind of showcase of just, dude, let me tell you, there was shit bands the whole day. It was just like ska bands, and there was like You know, because I'm trying to think what even year that was. It had to have been like 2000 and shit, I don't even know, five, six or something like that. But it was all these bands that wanted to do like, it was like right when that Bring Me the Horizon shit came out. So there was like the new movement of deathcore happening, but people not knowing how to play it. So they're playing it on like a crate amp using like the stock settings, right? Like no pedals, you know? So you're just like, what is happening up here? But it was my first band and this other band that I remember recognizing like, oh, it's a 1v1 right now. You know, like this, it's just us two that are really doing stuff here. And funny enough, the I think back in the day, the bassist, or I don't know, I'm trying to think what he played, Anthony, he's now in Straight from the Path. Oh, so cool. Like it was just kind of like, oh, I'm witnessing like the beginning of people that are gonna go do stuff, you know. And I remember having that memory then, and now it's cool seeing people still do stuff.
Yeah, there's in terms of like the local scene around me, there's one band called Harriet that have you heard of them?
I'm not sure.
They're kind of like brutal heavy, you know, but Debbie, the guitarist, she's sort of lives in Birmingham, but in terms of the scene, they kind of, I don't know if they're from around here, but it'd be cool to see in like 10 years where some of the people that, you know, there's a few bands that I can see where I'm like, I wonder if they will be, you know, where they'll go with that. But wait, so if you were to like launch, yeah, if you were to just like launch a new band right now, if someone just dumped you, you know, like no band, no nothing, and you got to start your own thing, would you, like, to what extent would you kind of DIY it? To what extent would you try and maybe search out, you know, would you try and do the kind of build it from the ground up, or would you look to kind of be like, you know, you're talking about these bands where they drop something out of nowhere and they've not even played a show.
Yeah.
How would you kind of go about it?
I think the opposite of what I like. So I'm saying that from the mindset of back then, MySpace era. It's like no one had money to go to a studio and plugins were not what they were. Where nowadays, dude, you can record at home and never touch a studio and be successful. Where like my other band, Merciless Concept, we tracked everything at home and sent it to one guy in California to like mix it all. And it came out sounding like we spent all our days in the studio. So it's just kind of like nowadays, if I was starting a fresh band today with no, even like no one knows who I am kind of mindset, I would do the whole like, hey, let's track it all at home and put our money into like travel and gear and put it towards the stuff that's going to be hard later, because the studio time is not that hard. It's just money. Where like if we do good at home at mimicking the sound of a studio, people are going to think we're a studio band, you know? Or now, like I said, you could track it at home and send it to a guy and it'll sound fucking huge.
Yeah. What's the process been like with Alluvial lately? Like, so seeing you guys have been quite busy, it looks like.
Yeah, we've been sneaking around.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a little fund for the label, like sneaking around. Like, what's all this sneaking around money?
I mean, it was fun. It's fun for us because we don't want to be like, you know how like people will be like putting out a teaser and they'll be like, coming soon in 7 months. It's like, no, that sucks. No one's gonna sit around and wait for 7 months. I'd rather post on my own thing, like, oh, I'm flying to Georgia, and people put it together like, wait a minute, something's happening. You know, I think it's more exciting for people that actually give a shit to like start putting things together. Because anytime I'll even post like, oh, dude, this burger's so good, they're like, when is it coming out? People are just like annoying about it or getting annoyed at me just not talking about it. But I mean, our process right now is I was at Wes's house for about a month, and we were just kind of like demoing ideas, and you know, because we all live in different states. So for us to get together, it can't be like, hey, dude, I got this riff. Here, check it out. And he sends it to me over a computer. I'm just sitting there like, oh, yeah, I'm listening to it. And then I'm going to call him back and give him my vibes. It's like, if I'm hearing something live in the moment that's like either very sick or not sick, I'm going to be like, oh, right there. And I can tell him in person in that second. So if it feels like you're generating live good music instead of it being like, oh, let me take notes at this time, at this timestamp, I think this should shape. And I think that just takes away a fun dynamic.
Yeah. It's hard to find that balance of like, I know a lot of bands where even like in the UK where, you know, it's not that big a place, it's still big enough that like you could have band members 6 to 8 hours away from each other.
Oh, sure.
Like I think there are some pros to all the technology, and you talked about things like being able to demo your own music and actually get it like production ready. But I sometimes wonder if all these tools like can leave you so maybe not exactly the things we talked about, but some of these tools available nowadays to all types of musicians can almost leave you overcomplicating the process. I sometimes, sometimes I just sit there and I just sit with an acoustic guitar and a notepad, and I feel like, like this is so much nicer. Like I don't have to, I have to look at the screen. There's something about a screen in my face I just find puts me in another headspace.
Sure.
I don't know if you're kind of, if you sort of feel the same.
I feel like you can get that after a while of like sitting there moving MIDI drums, just like tick, 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 you're hearing 17 snares and you're going, I don't give a shit anymore. like there's a point where your brain turns off and it's like, I don't know what's a good idea or a bad idea. I think it's a good skill set is knowing when you're cooked. It's like, I need to stop listening to this for like a day and then come back to this with fresh ears, because you could get so dwelled into something and no one's telling you like professionally, like, all right, let's break off here and do something else and like, wrap up something else. But because then you'll just dig a hole and not sleep for 24 hours on this one song, just putting all your heart and effort into it, go sleep and wake up and hate everything you did. I think that's one thing that definitely happens. If you're like, no, it needs to be done. And then you do it and you're like, I hate this.
Yeah. Well, in terms of your like involvement with the process, do you, when it comes to like writing and stuff, what's your kind of contribution beyond sort of the vocal side of things? You're talking about like moving drums around and stuff. What's the kind of balance between all the band members? Like, because I obviously, as I understand it, it was kind of Wes's thing at first, with the instrumental, or it was Wes and Keith, wasn't it? And then, so what's the process like now?
It's a bit everywhere. It's me coming into the picture. It was just me and Wes on Sarcoma for the most part, putting that all together. And then we assembled everyone with us. So it was kind of like when I joined the band, Sarcoma was kind of like, I want to say like 80% set up. And then when I joined, my vocal style definitely changed how Wes's imagination went. And like all the songs, I don't know what tuning they were in, but they were in a higher tuning. And then as soon as I started laying down the first, like we started with Ulysses, immediately Wes was like, I'm gonna have to retrack all the guitars, huh? Okay, sick. We went lower and this, that, and the other. And I gotta say, like, talking to a lot of different musicians and knowing how like people could be like, no, I want it this way kind of thing. Me and Wes have very much like molded into each other's interests of like, if I think something's sick, he'll go, no, I agree. That is dope. Let's do this. And if he says it's the same thing for me, like I'll be in the studio tracking something and he's like, no, try it like this. Like we're very much in each other's business of the writing. And like, even for instance, like just now at his house, we were just like demoing for a month, just putting out like I'm humming a riff and he knows how to put it in. Or I did like a drum roll thing and I can program it in, and he's playing Zelda and I'm doing some editing, and then we'll swap and he'll come check out what I did and see if he likes it and this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's very, I guess the answer to your question is it's very included in riffs, in drums, in just, we want to write music as if we were that band we didn't have in high school. We want to play our own favorite shit. Yeah.
It's cool. There's that kind of, like, I know I have a tendency to get protective over, like as a guitarist, and get protective over stuff, and like I can't play half as technically brilliantly as Wes can. So to be like open-minded about that stuff, like how did it feel? Kind of, were you sort of before joining up? Were you apprehensive about like finding your place, or was it quite easy from the start? Like
it was, I gotta say, it was quite easy. It's he didn't really put up a guard and make it like, all right, like I'm not a hired gun in this thing. It's more like we want a full band of dudes that are going to contribute and feel home forever, because how common is it that you hear other bands where it's like one guy that writes everything and says everything, and then there's four other members going, yep, it's his party, and we don't want that. We don't want that here. And yeah, I don't know. It was pretty fast. We got together after I had left Suffocation. So like he knew of me through a mutual friend. We got together, and it was kind of like we didn't know each other personally through a hole in the wall in the beginning. It was just kind of like, hey, my buddy recommended you, and our mutual buddy is a really good dude, so I trust him, kind of thing. Shout out to Thaddeus. And yeah, man, it was like we just kind of started learning each other. And during the process of Sarcoma was just a big learning experience for both of us. And now from here on out, like the stuff we're doing is the way we've talked about it. Like, you know how, like, I don't know if you saw like magazine things where they were like, oh, members of Suffocation, the Faceless, and this, that, and the other are putting out an album. People would listen to Sarcoma and go, oh, this is a lot of Wes's brain going off. Where now I come from a brutal death metal mindset or hardcore, like heavier mindset of things. And people are like kind of sifting through the songs going, all right, where is that in Sarcoma? We have some elements of it, but I think from here on out, you're going to see a beautiful mixture of more heavy, more sad, more depressed, more brutal, but also keeping the elements that keeps Wes entertained and me entertained and all this mixed feel, you know? So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. No, I'm excited, man. I was like, it's one of my kind of. I remember hearing some of the parts where, yeah, I find with a lot of not just modern metal, but like a lot of modern music, it's not. I feel like it's maybe I'm just a bit of a snob, but it's like it's not often that I hear something and go like, whoa, what? Yeah, like a rewind, I'm like, what was that? Like you know what I mean. And with your guys' music, I quite often find myself going like, oh. What was that bit like? You know,
yeah.
I remember.
I mean, that's the mission. We want to keep doing that. You know.
Yeah. There's not that many kind of like bands where I've got the rewind mindset where I'm like, I need to go back and see what the fuck that was. I was looking at I was sort of briefly going through an interview that you did a little while back, and you were talking about that period before you joined the band. And my understanding is it was a little while between you leaving your previous band before Alluvial happened. And how do you kind of keep that like sort of self-belief going when, you know, because you were saying you're sort of like, you're getting offers from people, but not really things you kind of want to do, you know?
Right.
How do you keep that kind of belief in your sort of self-worth as a musician when you've not got stuff going on?
It was hard. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was, you know, after I left Suffo, there was this mindset of like, hey man, someone's got to be looking, you know? And I started getting a lot of fill-in offers and stuff like that were like entertaining, that I was like, oh shit, that could be something. But then the deeper I looked, the closer I looked, I was like, that's not for me. That's not right. But where I am now, and that gap in between, I definitely had that moment of like, I might not touch a stage again. You know, like I don't know what's going to happen, you know, and the fact that this pulled through, I was very happy. And I think it's been like this confidence boost from the beginning of Sarcoma coming out, and now where we are now, I'm very comfortable with where we are and very stoked. But that middle ground, I can't really give advice on because it does suck. That middle ground does suck, because then I'm like, fuck, do I start my own single, like solo thing? Kind of what we were just talking about before. I have those thoughts of like, should I do a solo band? Should I do it all at home? Just to get back out there. But it's always stressful because look at half the scene, you know, so many people are already sharing members of bands. Just to get people to get together again would be a nightmare. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very stoked.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I think it's kind of relatable though, even if you say you don't have necessarily any advice, like it's just relatable for some people to. I'm kind of like, I don't really know where I'm. What my head's like in one place one day, and then another place. Like, yeah, I'm like, maybe I should do. Yeah, I'm thinking about I'm trying to lean into vocals and deciding if that's for me. And then the other day, I'm like, no, I should just do guitar. I'm good at guitar. And then I'm like, should I do acoustic stuff and just fuck off all the metal things? Because I like just sitting with an acoustic. And then it's like all these different things. I think if I just picked one, you know, if I just picked something, it would probably solve a lot of problems. But I don't know, like, was that with the sort of, you know, how do you think that would have gone? You know, I don't want to get too sort of depressing, but like, you know, say the Alluvial thing hadn't popped up, where do you think maybe, what sort of direction do you think you would have decided to go in?
I mean, I would have still stuck forward. I still would have tried to do something no matter what. And I mean, I've always just wanted to be in a heavy band. I think that's just no matter what, if it was brutal death metal or hardcore or something like that. I mean, I have a lot of different inspirations from different sounds, and I think the thing that makes me happier is that like now being in Alluvial, I don't want to go like any. There's nothing I'm hungry for. Like there's all my scratches are itched, you know. And like meeting someone like Wes, he wants to play brutal stuff too, and I want to play like we both have like the same influences of like Crowbar and like heavy, sludgy, depressive shit, but also having like blast metal in there, like stupid, crazy, fast stuff. But if that were not to work, if that never showed up, yeah, man, I don't know. I think that would be the move, is me try to like start my own thing and see what happens out of it. Just because I think all my previous bands I've ever done, like I did Suffocation, I did Pyrexia, and then before that is Merciless Concept, which is me and Charlie's from Suffocation's like original band. If that were, I never want to keep joining other people's shit, you know? And I think that's a thing that's like too common in the scene, where like people want their big break, so they join a band that's already existing and they think it's going to be like the best scenario ever. But everyone's got horror stories of something, you know? Like I've heard stories of people joining another band and then they're like, all right, the original guys are going to make like 20 grand on this tour, but you're going to make like $400. And it's just like, fuck, I want to keep doing this, but this ain't right. Like something's not balanced here, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess the answer is to try to persevere the best you can.
Yeah. Because
worst case scenario, I'm good with computers. I'll just fix computers forever and hate my life, but it's fine.
Yeah. It's, I was listening to the Downbeat podcast, The Competition, or, you know, the competition, another league for me. But, you know, like I was thinking I was going to make a UK soccer reference, but I don't know if that would be.
I would not get it.
No, it's fine. I don't even get much of it either, so it's fine. Like I don't even know why I would have made that reference. I don't even know what's the one below the NFL? Is there like a league
below the NFL?
Is there like one below that? That's like a sort of a, you know, you graduate from that to go to the NFL if you're like in one
yeah. Like I mean, everything's got their minor league, right, or whatever the fuck you call it.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm like 16th place in one of them somewhere at the moment compared to that.
You're saying in reference of like where to find like music, or like in a band scenario? Or?
Oh yeah, so I was just joking about my I was just joking about the podcast compared to the Downbeat podcast. So I realized I sidetracked completely. But he was talking about what were they talking about? They were talking about touring and stuff. I can't remember how I got on where my brain went on this. But they were talking about, either way, I thought it was interesting because that was it. It was touring. So they were talking about touring and like the finances behind it and stuff, and how a lot of bands struggle, particularly like merch cuts and stuff, to kind of make it work. What was your like experience of the last tour? You know, I mean, I'm not going to ask about like money and stuff, but like, what's the kind of can you relate to that kind of struggle of making it through? And I'm sure you've done other tours before that can't, I know they're not always easy. Like, if anything, it sounds like they're difficult more often than not. What's your kind of, can you relate to the sort of that common story that of the tours, the kind of just about making it sort of thing with like,
yeah, dude. I mean, like just even getting out to Europe is just kind of like an analytical nightmare, because it's like, all right, we're going to bring all this shit. Like Wes and Tim have like the sickest rigs, the Kempers, the whole everything. We found out a way to like put it in cases and roll it right up on stage and open it in such a way that it's all set up. All right, cool. We have to ensure that and make sure it gets there. And then also merch. So we got to print shit over there and make sure we get it in time to sell it. And then, we're going from Germany to the UK, we got to leave our stuff behind and get a new batch in there because of Brexit and like doing all that stuff. And then we got to go to Ireland. So we got to pop on this ferry and hope that everything, it's just going in and out. It's a nightmare. Touring is, me and Wes have made the joke. It's like, you kind of have to be crazy to want to do this. Like you're literally just suffering money wise until like you stick it through long enough to, smoothen out all the bumps. I mean, any band that just gets started, or like, you ever see bands that buy onto tours? Like that is it in itself a wild concept of like, you're already not going to make money back, unless it's fucking you're opening up for Metallica and you bought on. Like, that's different. But most of the time, a lot of these tours are just bomb drives. You know, some drives can be anywhere from 10 to like 19 hours, and no one has money to pay for a driver. You might not even be paying for a merch guy or a light guy or even a front of house guy. You're doing everything DIY, and you're just trying to get through it. And then you get home and then you see all of the expenses. You're like, oh, I spent like 18 grand on fuel just this month alone. And then we spent, you know, we rented the trailer, we rented the van, we've had to buy new cymbals, we had to replenish merch and all this stuff just to make it meet. So like, yeah, it's hard. Touring is kind of a nightmare. I know, what's his face did a video recently. Someone from Archspire put out a video on YouTube.
Oh, Dean.
Doing like, yeah, he put out a video doing like an analytic breakdown of everything. I was like, I agree. Like, everything about that is pretty dead on. And it's kind of nuts coming home. But I mean, that's why we do it though. You know, it's the chase. And there is a white light at the end of the tunnel that you're just going to keep trying to go for. And if you're hungry enough and you know, me and Wes, we do these things where we try to inspire each other. And if I'm like slacking in one department, he'll be like, bro, we didn't want to work desk jobs. We didn't go to school, right? Like that. This is what we want. Right. And it's like, yeah, fuck, you're right. You know, so that's how we keep each other going. But man, it's a brutal choice of lifestyle, but it has its perks.
Yeah. Well, you get, I mean, the, you know, the obviously just being able to be on stage, kind of a lot of people envy that, you know, like that kind of connection you get from the actual live performance of the song.
It's the best drug there is. Like I remember that was a feeling I had. That was the first thing when you were asking me what would happen in between, what was your brain like in between leaving the last band and joining the new one. It's kind of like I had those memories because with Suffo, I did all the festival runs. Like we did Brutal Assault, we did all that stuff. Summer Breeze. We do Summer Breeze, yeah, Summer Breeze and all that stuff. And it's just like you get those flashback memories of like, oh, I was screaming at 30,000 people, like, and fuck stage fright at that point. Like, dude, like my brain is on a whole new level. And the minute your set's over, you're kind of like, it all comes back to reality. You're like, what just happened up there? Like that was insane. And I can't wait to do those things again. That's like really what the payoff is. Like in my head, I'm not thinking like, oh, we're gonna blow up, we're gonna be rich, dude. Fuck yeah. It's more like I can't wait to watch a wall of death with like 40,000 people. Like that is the thing that motivates me the most right now.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, is there a fix if it's like a systemic thing or a way bands could make touring work? You know, like more sustainably obviously, yeah, you've got the super big bands that are going to make money, but yeah, you know, anyone that's not at that point, is there a fix in the system or with the actual bands themselves that could kind of make touring a bit more feasible, do you think? Or
dude, it's not really. I think it's like you kind of have to roll with the punches because like, dude, look at like we toured right after COVID when gas was at its highest. So like we did that tour at Rivers of Nile and Fallujah, and it was just kind of like, it was fun. It was successful, but like, I'm so glad we were able to pay off all of our stuff. We came home just kind of breaking even, you know? And when you think about the money that goes in to all the gear, because that was the tour that like we bought all the shit for, you know, we set up all our rigs and did all that stuff. And it was definitely a journey to like go through all like hotels, you know, because you got to treat yourself. You got to get a hotel, you got to shower in some places because not a lot of state venues have showers and stuff like that.
Well,
I guess that would be a thing.
Yourself.
If the states, if anyone wants to take care of the musicians, go fix all your showers and all your venues. God damn it. Europe has it figured out. They have showers and stuff out there all nice.
I don't think we have them here in the UK. I think Europe, yeah, maybe.
Oh, you guys had I think you guys had a shower at that. Oh no, not that one. Not that one. I'm trying to remember. I didn't see you at the Dome. I saw you in Birmingham, the other one.
UK.
Yeah. Yeah. That one was small. There's
not many showers in the whole of Birmingham. It's fine. Like you probably if there was one in there, it's probably gonna have a queue. Like
yeah.
What did you make of like Europe and sort of the UK? How's it compare to over in the States? The sort of touring.
I love it. I think going to Europe is the thing I look forward to the most on tour. Like doing a States run is fine. Like as an American, I kind of like laugh at this country because it's just like, fuck's sake. I live in New York, so once I leave it, you're just gonna hear me bitching the whole time. Like it's just everything. Like until I hit California or until I hit like, you know, some modern up to speed places, because that whole middle of the country is just such a trek to fucking, you know, tour through. And the thing when you catch yourself looking forward to seeing a Buc-ee's, you're like, damn, dude, there's really nothing else out here, huh? You know, venue wise, everything's kind of scarce. But yeah, I love touring Europe so much. I get so excited for food. My stomach hates this country. So then when I'm like, I can't eat bread, I can't eat milk, I can't drink milk, I'll go to Europe and I'll eat every croissant in front of me. I'll eat any option in front of me. I'm eating it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sort of craving. I've never been to the States, so it's like I'm almost feeling the opposite. But yeah, I'm like the when have you seen the lists of like, if you look at like ketchup, the amount of ingredients in like the ketchup you guys get versus there's like 20
Dude,
more
it's
ingredients.
Our ketchup is poison. Everything we eat is poison. It's kind of nuts. Like I was watching a video about I forget where I saw this, if it was a YouTube thing or but there's a Netflix show called Rotten, and it goes over like how just fucked up our food industry is. It shows you about like guacamole and like avocados is run by the cartel and how like all this other stuff. But there's this one just about bread. Do you know our bread lasts like a month and a half because there's just so much bullshit in it? Like that's not even exaggeration. Like brioche buns, you know, you can just have them in your drawer. But the only thing you'll notice is they feel different. They feel like spongy after a month. Like I don't eat it that late, you know, but it's the fact that there's so many preservatives pumped into it that are so just bad for you. And everyone's like, oh, I have a tummy ache. It's gluten. It's like, no, it's not. It's just poisonous bread. It's artificial bread. And there was this chemical that they use in the preservative that is banned in Europe. It's banned in like Russia, and it's also banned in China. And the thing that like tells me like China hates their own people. And if it's banned there and not here, what does that say about our people here? You know, like they're trying to like, it's nuts. I go nuts on just like food conspiracy. Everything is just all poison out here. Everyone wants you to be sick. Pharmaceuticals want you to spend more money. And right now I was watching some other TED talk that was about like this guy was like making a speech of like, if you're a diabetic, what do you think they want you to eat as a diabetic? And everyone's like, all right, bread, or try to like eat rice and like stuff that's not filled with sugar. It's like, nope. FDA wants you to eat a bowl of strawberry yogurt with a glaze of 1 teaspoon of honey. It's like they want you to get diabetes. That's like, it's an $18 billion industry every year.
There's a lot.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in that stuff. The what was I going to say? Yeah, I've been trying to avoid like I've been trying to cut out like as much in the way of chemical stuff as I can.
Yeah.
You know, you realize you're like, what, how, you know, I can't, where did I see it? There was a guy who, he died like fairly recently, and he hadn't like, it was like the world's most unclean man or something, you know. But he lived to like 90 something, you know, like a long time. And we always associate cleanliness with, you know, length of life. And obviously this could just be like some coincidence, but you can't help but think like, maybe he lived longer because he didn't have all this shit like just smeared over him every day, you know.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like shower gel and all these washes and deodorants and things. It's like there's no way, you know, sort of Neanderthal man was,
his body was doing the job. Like there's something where your body starts taking over and starts like cleaning itself to its own standard.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like, I've been trying to do like, what is it? Aluminum free deodorants. Because
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's like the ingredient that makes it work, kind of, but it's also like aluminum into your armpit. It's like a direct into your bloodstream kind of thing. And then people go like, yeah, there's all these types of cancers you can get from it and all that stuff. It's just nuts what we allow as people.
Turn into like Silver Surfer and like go.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
Maybe that's his origin story. Just deodorant. Like
he had a little rash or a cut or a scratch, and he like put on some Old Spice, and he's like just surfing around now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, there's a couple. It's my shitty sense of humor. I noticed you do a lot on like Twitch as well. Where does that come from? Like, what makes you want to? I know it's a lot of like gaming stuff, right? You do on there. Why did you want to kind of have that sort of connection with with these with an audience when doing this stuff? What is it that kind of draws you to that?
I loved streaming on Twitch. I started right after I left Suffo because I was just home a lot. And I mean, I'm a gamer. I like to game. I fuck around with shooters and horror games and stuff like that. And it was kind of one of those moments where I would watch like YouTubers play games and stuff. And there was one YouTuber that I watched that I didn't know he had a music interest until he was playing some horror game. And he opened it took place in like a high school, and he opens the locker and there's all these like stickers that are all like it didn't say like Metallica, but it said like fucking Metallica. It had like references to other real bands. Yeah. And this dude was like, "Oh shit, that's a Mr. Bungle reference." And I was like, "Whoa, he knows who Mr. Bungle is. That's cool." And it like sparked this thing in me. I was like, "I can fucking do this. This guy's getting paid to play his games and just talk about music and shit that he likes." And I'm like, I want to try it. Like, I have all the gear. I have cameras and shit for bands and stuff. And I was like, fuck it, let's try it. And it was one of those things that, I think of my Twitch stream as kind of like, for anyone that gives a shit, a backstage pass, where it's like, I'm going to talk about what's coming up. And I'm like, for people that watched me go to Wes's, like those people are getting that first dose of like, yeah, guys, I'm not going to be home for a month because I'm going to be doing this. And I'm like, yeah, so it's one of those things to stay in touch with just people in general. I feel like I've been told I'm a golden retriever, or like I'm a social butterfly. I just got to keep talking and hanging out and stuff. So when I'm home, it's just kind of like a good, like I'm going to press this button and 40 people are going to show up, and now I can play video games and chat about music. Just keep it going, and on there before a tour, I'll do a lot of like vocal warm-ups and showing what the set list is going to be and doing my whole thing on there. So it keeps it fun for anyone that's interested in the band loop and interested in what I got going on. It's like a personal, like it's my next gen vlogging. You know what I mean? I can just, wherever I am, just go live and just chat about shit, Yeah.
Do you have many people that follow you, like just more for like the gaming side, and then you'd go and do some like heavy metal shit? They're like, what is this? Yeah.
Definitely. It'd be like, because I don't do vocal streams often, because it's just kind of like, how long can I really stream for doing vocals? It's like after an hour, 2 hours, I'm cooked. It's just like, all right, now let's sit and play games. But I would always get that once in a while, because I'll play more games that people just start trickle following in, and then we'll post it on the Alluvial page where I'm doing vocal stuff. But yeah, it is funny when people are like, wait a minute, what are you doing? What? There's no way that comes out of your face. It's always fun.
I always get like, people are always surprised that I like really heavy music, because I don't sort of like, no part of me at any point tends to look like I like heavy music. I don't fit many of the stereotypes, so like people just rock up to a metal show in like a jumper, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
With like a scarf on, like, what are you, dude? What are you, but not like a band scarf, just like a
no, it's like Burberry, just rocking it.
Yeah. I feel like, but I don't know, I feel like those lines are kind of blurring a bit now, where you get like, and the music is always happening with the music now, where you're getting bands like Sleep Token, where they're metal, sort of metal, well, I guess, yeah, they're a metal band, but like, they're not. And that kind of cultural line, I think, is blurred somewhat. And again, you see people at metal shows, probably, well, like myself, where you're like, he doesn't look like he goes to metal shows, but I don't know, maybe do you think those stereotypes maybe are sort of eroding a bit, or?
Oh, 100%, dude. Like, Knocked Loose just played Coachella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to look at what people are witnessing. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's always, like, right now is a weird time in metal where, like, I never was one that followed a hard stereotype. I never had long hair. I never did the like studded leather jacket. I just was like, if anything, I looked like I was more into hip hop than I am metal. Like, look at me now, New York beanie, fucking chilling. I don't care. It's just like, I want to wear what I'm going to wear. The only thing I ever wore was always just like a band shirt. And I feel like there's that was one of the funniest comments ever. If you go to like, there's a Suffocation Live video of me playing Rockstat Festival, and the top comment is, I didn't know Harry Potter was in Suffocation. So
Dude,
like, because I had my hair kind of like just combed over, faded on the sides, and it's hilarious. But I didn't give a shit, you know. I'm not gonna what you want me to look metal for you, you know. That's weird. But definitely, I think there's definitely the stereotype is falling off. Like, I feel like there's now, because hardcore and metal is kind of like on the front page of people's things. Like, look at like how big Lorna got and how big Knock Loose got, and like you're getting all these different types of people into this thing, and there is no really hard stereotype. Like, I know, like, shout out to what's his name, Ian, I think his name is, from Knock Loose. He's rocking like fishnet shirts at Coachella and like overalls. I'm like, dude, do your thing. That's dope. And I think there's always going to be some sort of fashion-esque thing going on. Like a few years ago, it was like bleach blonde hair and fucking fanny packs were like the hardcore thing to do. You know, like streetwear is kind of leaked into the hardcore thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's what I mean. Like, I was talking to Josh from Malevolence age, like a long time ago, about like skateboarding and like hardcore music, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and all that stuff. I'm sure I saw something the other day where it was like, yeah, Beethoven was good, but was he on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's got to be the dream. Have you seen that band, the 900?
The 900, no.
But they're like, they do.
Yes, they're the cover band. They do all the covers for the Tony Hawk songs.
Yeah.
I saw a video where Tony Hawk actually did a song with them. He did Goldfinger with them.
Yeah. Well, so what? Like, speaking of things that like cross over, obviously you talked about the gaming. Like, what do you think? There's any part of your brain that kind of do you think maybe the part of your brain that's drawn to the gaming side of things is shared in some way with the part that's drawn to the music?
100%. I mean, my favorite games growing up were always like Quake, Unreal Tournament, Doom, all these brutal, bloody horror games. But then, like, looking back, not horror games, but shooter games. But like looking back, like Mick Gordon was a huge influence in a lot of musicians, and he did all the newer Doom music, and it's like so sick and so heavy, and like that's kind of where all like the new modern metalcore shit is going, where it's like digital but heavy kind of stuff. Like it has that sound going on, and like I don't know. I grew up listening to a lot of different. I grew up as like almost like a new metal kid. To some extent, it was like hardcore new metal, but I was listening to bands like oh my god, what was it, like Spine Shank and stuff like that, and Fear Factory, and like just a bunch of cool heavy shit was out back then. And like like I'm gonna drop a funny one, but Primer 55 was in like a bunch. You don't know them? They had that song. Oh my god, is it Get Loose there? What the fuck is? Now I'm on the spot.
You're right, it might be of interest to you. Your question was from Clint from Seven Dust. I don't know if you listen to much of their stuff.
Oh yeah. Seven Dust. I a little bit had a thing for them.
Yeah,
but that kind of stuff. Like, I guess my overall point is all these video games I used to play always had like a sick playlist in there. Like old Need for Speed had No Warning in it, and that was an awesome like hardcore band. And I don't think what else is out there. Like there's a wrestling game with the guys from ICP in it, but the soundtrack had like Biohazard. It had like all Earth Crisis. It had all these fucking crazy bands, and you're just like, how did this just like this planted a seed in me for sure that I was like, yeah, that is that shit I like, you know. And now it's like later in life, it all makes sense of where I ended up.
Yeah, it's like a chicken and the egg scenario. It's like, did the music make you like the game, or did the game make you like the music, or a bit of both?
I think it's more of both, because you're picking it up, right, and you're just getting immersed, and then like you're hearing the music hit you. Like for games like Doom, for instance, like it's all chill until like the first enemy pops up, and then it gets like and it's just you're so immersed, like holy fuck, this is insane, you know. And I think it's for the music and the game. You're just like in it, and then once you kill everyone, the fucking music settles down. And you're just like hearts ramped up, you know. It's so sick.
If you could put Alluvial, you can retrospectively put it on any game that you want. What? And you can only have one song. in the game. It's just
Yeah.
like a playlist. So, you know, you can't just have like your whole album in the game. What song and what game?
Well, it's so weird in my brain. I was about to say like a good dirt biking game would be sick for us, but I feel like they don't get the hype that they used to.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I mean, if we were to do anything, I would have put us in like MX versus ATV back in the day, just because I feel like everyone touched that game at some point. And I think that was one that had music that inspired me for sure. I don't remember who fucking was it. There was a band. It was Cher's son that had like a weird new metal band. And he had this song Gramercy Park. I'm gonna look it up 2 seconds.
I reckon you guys should have gone for like RuneScape or something. Get you.
You know what's funny? There is something I want to do. Oh, Dead Z was the group. There's a song, Key to Gramercy Park. It's like not a heavy song at all, but it's catchy as fuck. But you know what's funny? I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to find out how people, you know, the game Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
So that's a game I grew up with forever. And when you win the round, you can have kind of like this ringtone thing happen. If you're the guy that killed the last dude, it does like 10 seconds of a song that you bought in their store. And I've seen other bands that are of our same caliber like in there. And I'm just like, holy shit, we can have a song in this. I want to figure out who I got to hit up to like make that be a thing, you know? It's definitely been something on my mind.
So it's achievable. You could
oh yeah,
make your, yeah. I feel like that's one of those ones that has a real like cult following, isn't it? Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah. And I feel like there's that cultural thing, right? Where like, shout out to Matt Heafy. Like he is huge on Twitch and huge in the metal world. And like, he makes it known that he's a gamer. And he's in touch with, he's actually doing new Doom music because of it. You know what I mean? So like,
wow.
I would love in the future if stuff started coming my way for music, for games or any sort of game involvement, you know, or look at like Corpse Grinder with his World of Warcraft tattoo, how much attention that brought him in the World of Warcraft community. I think that's so sick.
Have you heard, I've forgotten what it's called, like, but it's like spoken word metal lyrics, and they take some Cannibal Corpse songs, and it's this guy sat in it's a guy sat in like a leather chair with smoking a pipe, and he reads Cannibal Corpse lyrics, just no music, and it's
no
hilarious.
Context or nothing.
He's really great at like just emphasizing the worst like the worst bit of the sentence. He's so good.
That's so funny.
So like with Twitch, I know a lot of people kind of, you know, see it as like, some people see it as a hobby. Obviously, a lot of people, it's like a full-time gig. You know, there are a lot of musicians out there that do a lot of like side hustles and do a lot of stuff just to kind of make ends meet as a musician. You get a lot of people who are purely just doing music on Twitch. Like, where are you at with the this kind of world where as a musician you kind of have to do other stuff unless you're right at the top? Do you think that's kind of like, are there benefits to that, or?
Oh, 100%. You know? I think you should always have some sort of side thing. And I've treated Twitch as my side thing, or even partly my main thing for a while, just because it keeps me free, that I can stream and keep subs going and stuff. And then I could just get up and go fly and record. Because any sort of like, if I were to just start working a job on the side too, it would just be like another hassle of like, oh fuck, I got to request time off just to record an album or go on tour, you know? But I think it's very important and strong for people to find a side thing. There's a lot of big bands that you'd be surprised that do side things that you wouldn't expect, you know? But dude, any source of extra income to even put towards back to the band is super important.
Do you think like do you think there are benefits to like the lifestyle though as well? So like, or is it, because, you know, in my head, certainly when I first considered the idea of being a musician, the idea of doing anything but music, I was like, no, I just need to be a musician and just do that. Like, you know, a lot of musicians are quite one-track minded in that sense, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, because that's how you get your sort of prodigies and that, you know. Do you think it's a good thing? Like, are there benefits to the fact that musicians are kind of being drawn away from that at all? Can you see any, like, because like, to me, I'm kind of just seeing the downsides of, like, you know, just not making enough money from music and then having to do other stuff.
Well, I think it's situational. Like, I think of someone like Wes, for instance, where Wes is greatly talented at what he does, and he found his side hustle is teaching how to do his favorite thing, you know, and he does well doing it. And I think he's keeping that growing where he doesn't have to go break his back in other ways. Like you'll find a lot of musicians are also producers, or they work in studios, or they're doing like, I know a lot of drummers that do like, hey, I'm going to go record for a studio and be their like in-house guy, that in case this band has MIDI files that they want the drummer to play over, boom, I can just show up at the studio and play these drums. I think if that was your mindset and you want to be a musician and that's it, like you got to be in that world, even as low as working at a Guitar Center, you know, just to stay involved in what you're interested in, because otherwise you're going to be distracted and you're not going to want to write music, because you'll just be like, imagine working like a fucking 10-hour shift at some retail store and then coming home trying to pick up your guitar. You're not going to have that same inspiration. I think, you know, it gets a little lost.
Yeah, well, I teach in the evenings, and I purposefully try and set that time aside to like afternoon, evening, so I've got the morning to like try and do my, you know, my thing basically.
Yeah,
it's like
you got to keep your brain happy, you know, first.
Yeah,
I know it's a weird tug of war that happens where it's like you want to make yourself happy, but you also need to make ends meet. So it's like that is the equation of life right there. It's like, how do you keep that work-life balance in music when it should be all fun, but it can get stressful if you're not producing what you want, right? Like it's just this itch that grows stronger because you can't get out the material that you're hoping for, because you're doing this thing for someone else that you don't want to do, but you need the money from it. It becomes this toxic circle.
Where, just to sort of like one last question, and then I'll get you a sort of opener for the next conversation, but where do you think you're at with that, you know, in terms of balance in life? Where do you feel like you're at a sort of a balanced point, you know, in your own head, or are there things you want to do more of, do less of in life? Like, where are you at with that?
I mean, more money would be dope. I mean, there's things I'm thinking about doing for just even social aspect, like just to get out of the fucking house. Like I've been thinking about just bartending, you know what I mean? Just to keep myself like in places, because I like the idea that if like, not that this would ever really happen, but I like the idea that if I were to bartend here and like make my money, go on tour, and I can just take off a month at a bar and be fine. And if I wanted to get up and move to another country, I could just start bartending in other places and like figure out how that works. And that way I know whatever town I go to, I have something I can fall back on, you know, as just for like getting started money, you know. But I think right now I'm in a balance mentally where I'm good. But if like I've worked big retail, I've worked at like computer stores and stuff where I'm just like, I never want to feel that again. You know, there's something I'm chasing here that if I just go back, it's all for nothing.
Yeah, I remember there's a time with my guitar teaching where like there's a particular like cost of living thing going on over here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but even compared to Europe, it's way worse here than like in other parts of Europe. And obviously teaching guitar, it's like, you know, it's a luxury for most people. So the first thing that goes when your paycheck gets cut or whatever, the first thing you're going to cut is like your guitar lessons, because it's not as important as food, you know, or petrol or whatever, or gas as you guys call it, which doesn't make sense. Why do you call it gas?
Yeah, it's just gasoline, so we just call it gas.
Yeah,
it's just short.
Yeah, it's just always, I was like, what? No, it doesn't make sense. But
yeah, there's a lot of things we do like that make no sense.
Yeah,
I think about it all the time.
The one that made me laugh is that you call it horseback riding, as if like you're riding anywhere else on the horse. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like what else are you like hanging underneath? Like it doesn't work. Yeah. But
I think the one that's funny for me is we drive on a parkway and park on a driveway.
What's a parkway?
Parkway is like a highway.
What?
Like a parkway is like a major like 3 lanes big road, you know. But a driveway is what you have in front of your house that you park on. So it's funny that we call it not a parkway, because it's where you'd park, but the driveway would be where you drive.
You should just call them like either parkway and not a parkway, or driveway and not a driveway.
Yeah,
you should just have this like sort of binary. It's a driveway or it's not a driveway.
Right. It's weird. I hate it all.
Anyway, what I was gonna say. I'm sure I was gonna say. Yeah. I remember there was quite a stress where I was wondering if I was gonna have to get like sort of other part-time work, just because the teaching was kind of like a lot of people going from weekly to fortnightly lessons just because of the money and stuff, and a few people just dropped off. But it's kind of all right now. But I was like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm taking a step backwards, you know, going back to that stuff, which was certainly like a stressful kind of thing. I think you just got to keep chipping at it. Worked out okay in the end. So
because you're your own boss right now, you know, imagine going from your own boss to being like, well, shit, I got to go ask for work or ask for something like that. Just the whole feeling of that is icky, you know, like you don't want to like feel at the mercy of someone else when I'm sure you teach guitar, you wake up, you make your own breakfast, your own coffee, you sit at your own computer and you make your own schedule. And it's so rewarding when it works, you know? I mean, I purposely love Twitch for that same reason, is that if I'm like it's 7 p.m. and I'm getting bored, I can just go boop and I can go live and post about it on Instagram or whatever, and people want to come and hang out. So I think I'm grateful for that kind of experience. But I mean, I've thought about doing like vocal lessons and stuff, but until I can sit and figure out a curriculum, then I might do it. Because I think right now, if I were to try, I'd be like, yo, what's up? Like, show me what you can do. And then I'll show you what I do and we'll meet in the middle. Like, I'd feel like I need like here's how you warm up. Here's how you do this, that, and the other. If you want to do fry, if you want to do false chord, like I should have a structure set up, but I don't right now.
I kind of winged it a bit when I started. So if it makes you feel any better. Like,
yeah, no, but I'm sure a lot of people do, because you're just like, this is something I want to get into. How do I do it? You kind of just dive in head first. That's the way people do most things. Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, that's how I started the podcast. I just emailed a load and like messaged a load of people, and yeah, just I already knew a few people from the band like that I was in. Maybe like I think I had the first 10 episodes or so were like people some of them were people I'd already known, and then I was just like, I guess we'll see where we go from here, you know. And this is how
Twitch started, bro. It's how we do things. You got to try it. That's the only way you know.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, that's like a nice positive to kind of close off on, rather than me being like, I wonder if I'm gonna have a job.
I might have to go to work after this. Anyways, let's end that podcast.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm late. Yeah. So what I need is a question to start the next conversation, which is in like 45 minutes actually.
Oh shit.
And I was meant to have one this morning, but like the guy just wasn't there. I was like, oh, cool. So and then I need an artist pick from you as well, like an artist you think deserves some love.
Okay. That's gonna take me just one second. Let me just go to my Spotify, because my brain has been brain dead lately.
So good. A lot of people kind of blank out of this part. They're like, what? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I mean, dude, anyone that watches like my streams know I'm just stuck in like this like mid 2000s death metal realm. Like,
yeah.
I'll throw a few out just for fun, but like Gorgasm, Defeated Sanity, stuff like that, you know. But a new band that deserves some love. Should I drop a few or just one?
Just one, if we can.
Just one.
Might as well get all, you know, rather than dilute the message.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to go. I'm trying to like not blow it, because I'll say one and then when we hang up, I'm like, shit, I should have said that one. But because Spotify is just feeding me garbage. I've been thinking about stopping paying for this.
I want to change, because I found the thing that's really pissing me off is I swear the shuffle is not like a true shuffle.
No, it's not. It's like if you skip one song you don't like, it puts it right back to the artist it knows you like.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a song you heard 3-4 songs ago. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and I'm just like, can you not just stop trying to be clever and just give me a random selection of songs? I'll skip it if I don't like it. It's not difficult. I'll just press skip, or I'll make a cue out of what you've given me, you know?
So what I do is I always like right click or like hit the dots on one song, and I'll be like, make a station based off this song. And what tends to happen is it gives you like 4 artists shuffled. And it's like, but why just 4? You're an infinite like library of music, but you're going to give me 4 fucking bands that is just going to keep playing the same few songs over and over. I hate it. Anyway,
I'm going to change. Probably.
A band I like right now on their latest release is that band Orthodox.
Cool.
They are like, I don't know what to call them. I'm going to call them just a hardcore band, but like they have clever breakdowns with almost like a nu metal approach vocally. And it's very dope. What's the name of that record? Hold on. It is Learning to Dissolve. Came out
Oh.
last year, and it's very sick. It's very violent, and yeah, go check that out.
It's a weird thing to learn. It's cool though.
Yeah,
cool
it's very
skill.
very good.
That'd be a good skill to have if you could just like dissolve out of places, you know.
Yeah,
Like speaking of uncomfortable situations, you just like, well, I'm gone. Like,
that's it. I'm done.
yeah,
Melted.
yeah. It's pretty. It's like one step up from like throwing a smoke bomb and running away.
Yeah.
So, I'll go on.
No, I was just trying to think of a question now.
Yeah, that's the trickier one, if anything. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say. Oh shit!
That
I'm trying to
laugh
think of
scared me. I'm like, what is this going to be?
a part of me is just making it brutal. It's like if you had to cut one band member, who would it be?
You can do
Like
like
if
you
you-
want. I'm yet to. The only thing
Like,
is
who
obviously you
holds
don't know.
who holds the less weight?
Yeah, who's the worst musician you've encountered recently? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, for perspective, I won't say who it is, but like it will be someone in the world of music. So they might not be in a band. It might be like a producer. It might be it could be anyone. It'll be someone in music, right? But
Yeah. All right. How about this? If you were in a band, who would you cut first? Your merch guy or your light guy?
oh, okay, that's a putting them on. The
Or
spot.
no, let me change it.
Okay.
If it was your merch guy or your driver,
Oh.
if you were to DIY a certain scenario, would it be merch or would it be driving?
Oh wait. Oh, so sorry. So the question is, you have to go on a tour, for example.
Yep.
Would you?
Budgets ain't gonna make it. You need to cut one.
You got
What
to
do you
cut the
cut?
merch guy or the driver. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Yeah.
Because then whoever you ask, if they have a person in mind, it's gonna be like, oh shit, I really like that guy.
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I tell him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good. Yeah, that's good. That's mean. I like it.
it'll derive some thoughts, you know.
Yeah. Sick. Is there anything you want to plug or sort of promote to finish up?
I mean, shout out my Twitch stream, of course. I'm just at Kev Muller. I'm at Kev Muller on everything: Instagram, Twitch, Twitter is Kev Muller Live. Look out for the fall. We got some stuff cooking, so that's all I can say for that. For Alluvial, and what else do I want to plug? I think that's about it. Just Twitch. Follow me. Come hang out. Watch me drink some beers and shoot some heads off on Call of Duty. It's gonna be nuts. And yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This is sick.
Thank you, man.